Today is March 21st, 2024. My name is Melissa Ackerman, and I will be interviewing Jamie Pink as part of the Dallas Jewish Community Israel Mission Testimony. Hi, Jamie. How are you today?
I'm good today. Thank you.
Was this your first time visiting Israel?
No. I went many years ago with Teen Tour, the second year they went, and I've been not numerous times, but probably 5 or 6 times since then.
When was the last time you went before this?
2015.
So,
And had 2 trips that were canceled
okay.
In the last 4 years. One for the pandemic, and one there were issues in Israel, I guess.
Okay. What made you want to participate on this particular mission?
Well, I had planned to be in Israel in November for the Jerusalem Biennial, and I just felt like I wanted to see what was going on with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any reservations about it?
Yeah, of course. Going into a war zone, you got to sign a waiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What were the most meaningful things you experienced on this trip?
Gosh, it was a very emotional trip.
How?
Just to see the carnage, to really see it with your eyes. And we had shown the Hamas film footage at the museum several months before. And so when I was, especially at Kfar Aza, that kibbutz, my mind could put that together. What I'd seen in the video and seeing the destruction and devastation in person.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we weren't allowed in any of the buildings because they were marked as to whether or not they had been completely cleared or not of weapons and bombs and things like that. It was really everything. Everything was wrenching. But I would say that when I got back on the bus from that, it was naturally extremely upsetting.
From the kibbutz?
Yeah, partially because I had seen that film footage, and I could really put those people in those houses, and I could visualize all the unspeakable things that had been done to them. It was obvious.
Were they basically left untouched?
The Hamas films?
The
outsides. I mean, I have a lot of photographs to print. I haven't done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I got a real bad cold by the time I got home. So I've missed a couple of weeks of work time, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any other things that were especially powerful for you?
We were at the Nova Festival Memorial area. It was it was all anyway. So we were there, and of course there were a lot of memorials all over. It's like being on a football field of memorials. And we were talking to one of the rabbis, and he was talking about how they had to vacuum out all the cars so that they could send the cremation,
The human remains.
to the United States because of the 9/11 DNA analysis that they have there. The technology is more advanced, so that they could figure out who all these people were. And the cars just, stacked, hundreds and hundreds of burnt up cars. And, quite a few that weren't burnt, but just...
What was that called when you saw that? Was that the car cemetery? Is that,
I guess.
Somebody referred to it as that.
Maybe that's what they called it.
Just thousands of cars.
Yeah, rusted out, burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
Just all orange, kind of, like rust colored. But I knew it was from being burnt. It wasn't from...
Right.
That was, and then when we were at the when we were at the festival field with all the memorials up, they started shooting cannonballs.
What kind of memorials were set up there?
Well, there were candles in certain areas, but mostly they were stakes with the photograph of the person who'd been killed at usually a very happy, smiling photograph, which is, of course, how you'd want to remember someone.
Mm-hmm. So they had them placed all over there.
All over. Just like flags waving in the wind. It was
Very powerful.
yeah. I mean, and then the cannonballs going off. It was
Who was shooting off the cannonballs?
I guess the IDF.
Okay.
And apparently, at first they said, "Oh, they're destroying houses," but that's not what it was for. It was diversionary, so I guess so that whoever was in Gaza would be thinking that it was over there.
Were you frightened?
Yeah. Yes.
During the days and nights when you would hear sounds, was it?
No, it was just that one time. That was the one time we heard weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
We were, I went in '74 right after the '73 war on team tour, and our Madrachim who were with us, they carried rifles for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been Uzis. I mean, I think in my mind I remember them saying they were Uzis, but what do I know from guns?
Mm-hmm.
So.
What would you want people to know about what you experienced on this trip?
That I guess I came thinking maybe they needed to do a ceasefire, maybe it was time, but it made me feel like they just need to be able to do what they need to do. If they need to go another 2 weeks or a month, I don't know if it helps or it hurts, but it feels that if that they know what they need to do, and it's not for me to say what they need to do. And if there's 4 more battalions left, and that's going to take them 2 weeks or a month or whatever, in the long term, it might take them longer to get reestablished if there are fewer of them left. And then they can hunt down the individual ones.
You say that let them finish the job they feel like they need to do to make it safe?
Yes, if they need to finish the battalions, then they need to finish the battalions. And then after that, then they can hunt people down one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they have to do. They've done it before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole thing is, everything going on in Gaza is horrific.
Did you feel like you had a good picture of it before you went?
Yeah, because
You had seen some films and you had done
I'd
some
seen-
studying
yeah,
yourself?
Yeah, I've seen I read a lot of newspapers and I watch a lot of news,
Mm-hmm.
for better or for worse, and I do, but there's nothing like being there and seeing what happened and seeing how these kibbutzim were so devastated and listening to the film. It was bad enough what they did, and that it was almost, I don't want to say overkill, but the torture was obvious. And there were the glee, the happiness that they felt in murdering all these defenseless people and calling their mother, calling their mothers and telling them how, oh, you'll be so proud of me, I killed so many Jews. And so, of course, I've always been fairly, for no reason, really, neurotic about anti-Semitism, even when things were really peaceful and calm.
Mm-hmm.
And this, of course, stirred this up in everyone because it's so clear.
How did they feel about having an American group coming over there?
Oh, they were thrilled to have us there and understood that it was all of us. Because sometimes I feel that they must think, oh, they're all so safe over there. And, clearly, for the most part, we are. But I've always felt that it's not just their job to maintain Israel. It's our job for them to know that we're with them on it and that we support them in it.
Mm-hmm. And do they feel our support?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Everyone couldn't have been lovelier. And very grateful that we were there, and
Did it feel differently just even walking around in the country
Oh,
on
yes.
this trip?
Yeah.
How did it?
Well, every other time I've been, I mean, even in '74, we were with the group, but for the weekends that we were off to be with family, they would say, okay, go.
Go shopping, go eat,
Go do what you want to do, go get on the train, take it to your family, get on a bus, whatever you do, you do. Right, they didn't give us, I'm sure they must have given me some directions because I'm directionally challenged, but in general, we were cut loose. I know they would never do that now, and they would have never done that for many years since, they wouldn't have done that. But, so you felt safe and very free. And now also when I go, a lot of times I am on my own, and because I speak enough Hebrew to get around and make myself, I can understand them, but they can understand me, so that's half the battle. And I've always felt like, for the most part, I can navigate pretty well by myself, and I'm not a very good navigator in general, but I always felt kind of free to be on my own and go shopping and be places and not worry.
Did you not feel that way this
Yeah,
trip?
I wouldn't have done it this time. I felt like the trip was the right length. It was short, but it was long enough.
And intensity was...
The intensity was incredible.
The days looked very, very full on the
Yes.
itineraries.
Yeah, we were up from really early until late at night.
And
everything
with everything you experienced, it's draining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And, we had lunch with soldiers one day, and they all looked like such babies.
Yeah. In closing, what would you like to see happen based on your experiences?
In Israel? Anywhere? Well, of course, peace would be nice. That would be what I would hope would be the end goal. And that if they have to manage Gaza in order to maintain peace, then I feel like I don't think there's any way around a two-state solution. They're not going anywhere. And but once they've cleared out the tunnels and they learn how to do a better job of monitoring the tunnels, not having tunnels. I mean, to take all the money that they've gotten and use that for tunnels, just who knows how many millions, who knows, billions, it's an unspeakable amount of money to put into tunnels just so that you can perpetrate mass killings. I guess I would hope that there'd be some sort of peaceful, some living together, acceptance on both sides. It's not easy because they're really bent on genocide. And when I hear people say genocide, that Israel is committing genocide, I'm like, that's not genocide. You don't understand the definition of genocide. Genocide is not when you have a population of 1.5 million people, and in 17 years it's 2.5 million people. That's not genocide. And anyway, and then of course when the dust settles and we know the actual numbers of people who were killed, and I'm not saying it's a small number, I'm sure it's not, but anyway, I guess I don't know what I want to see. I want to be able to go in and out from Israel and feel comfortable, and I want Israelis to, love their home, be able to live in their home.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Doesn't seem like it should be too much to ask.
Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Well, thank you for doing this.